So, welcome back. Now we are waiting for the battlefield. Just so pew pew and bang bang, as usual. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Why are you not starting? God damn it. Okay, there we are. Hope you all, I still hope it's quite a relaxing time. And if you hear some furious typing, that's not typing, that's Agonia playing Caves of Kut and hammering the numpad, as you do when you play Caves of Kut, because it has... That's probably my biggest problem with learning Caves of Kut. It's not that I don't have a problem with with a lot of the things the game wants you to learn. I generally think it's one of those games where people will say like, "Oh, it's so much. It's it's so complex." And like, yes, the game has a lot of options and there's a lot you can do, but in the moment-to-moment gameplay, your options are much smaller, and you can decide a lot easier. My biggest problem is just you control it with the numpad, which
is the best control scheme.
Hi, Agonia.
Hey.
You have some activity right now. Mm-hmm. How are you doing?
I came back from the waterlogged tunnel.
Okay. How did it go in the waterlogged tunnel?
Well, there was a fungus patch, which I hated, but the entrance to Red Rock was also filled with fungus, so I was like, no, I'm going through the tunnel.
Fungus is a problem.
Well, it's not a problem, but it's an inconvenience I like to avoid.
Yeah, I can see that.
You could also become a friend to fungus.
You could. Yes, but fungus seems to be, if you're not a friend, to be a problem.
No, it's the fungal infections that are like...
Yeah.
I don't like them, other people like them, other people farm them for iron shank sometimes, or blabbermouth, which are like different types of infections with obviously different effects.
Well... I think it's just, how would I put it? Yeah, fungi, that doesn't sound too nice if you have some problems with it. But I want to talk about the control scheme. Like, I know why you like it. Because everything is at the fingertips of one hand.
Yes.
Yes. Which is actually, here's the thing. I like that idea. It's great. The problem is just the numpad is for the right hand. I am left-handed. I will not use the right hand. No.
We have my old keyboard.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. Your old keyboard. Well, she had an old keyboard where you could actually detach the numpad and attach it on the other side. I could play it with that, although I do not want to get rid of my keyboard because it's a very good keyboard.
No, it's a very loud keyboard.
Shut up! It's a good keyboard.
Can you play Touhou and Stepmania with it?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
I can. Listen, this one has switches. You can play Touhou and Stepmania better than on your current one.
No, you can't because the switches are awful. They feel bad.
There are multiple types of switches and you have never tried one with a switch that might be a thing you like.
We were shopping for a keyboard, and I
Yes.
didn't like any of them.
Yes. I mean, there was this Razer once that apparently was discontinued before I got to buy it, but it was also kind of expensive because I can see why it was discontinued, because who wants to buy a keyboard with switches that feels like one with rubber domes?
I do.
Yes, exactly you. You're like the only person that really wants that.
True.
Okay, so we can shoot some robots, or actually, let me just check. Let me just ask the guy who knows this, definitely. Because there's a new Easter egg going on, and I mean, I guess we can sit down and do some. We can maybe do like the first step. Just generally ask if there's more uncovered. So, damn it! They really only know the first steps then. Okay, let's see. Do I have I don't have one. Oh shit. Okay. Might get a code. So yeah. Okay. We only have the first step because there's a lot of stuff currently going on. Because there is there's a new Phantom program going on. So everyone who doesn't know about the Phantom program, it's a thing they did back in Battlefield 4, and it was like a really long multi-step Easter egg. Where it basically ended up with, where at the end, you unlocked some tags on the way, and then, at the very, very end, you were able to unlock the bow. And then they introduced an even bigger Easter egg where at the end you could unlock a knife with a bipod. The most useless thing ever, and it was an absolutely grueling thing to do. And I kind of had done that for multiple times now, They had one in Battlefield 1 where you unlocked the Peacekeeper. That was like a revolver. I didn't do that actually. Maybe I should do it one day. Who knows? I just completely forgot how to do that. There was something in 5, but I don't remember. And now it's back. And maybe we're going to unlock some new vault weapons with that. Who knows? So, yeah, main thing right now. Fuck, I need to type it in manually. God damn it, game. Why can't you just have... Why can't you just have copy-paste? Copy-paste is... Wrong map. God damn it. Fuck it. Let's just let's make one myself really quickly. Sadly, you need to go on a website for that, but at least that will come back, which is just generally one of the best features they had. Fuck, now my voice is dying. Time to get something. What? I mean, I don't know what Lutschbonbon is in English. A drop. Drops. Just, I can't open it. I can't open it! Why is this so why is this so damn fit? No. No, I will not use those scissors for it. No, that is worse. Patagonia. No.
Come on. Easy. There.
No, stop doing that. No. This is heresy. Thank you, but I hate you. No. This is.
We can.
Sorry, I just had the worst possible nightmare about what could happen. Okay.
What could happen?
You know, you press it, boom, and then I have to find it in the dust, maybe. You know?
You could also just forget it and let the spiders eat it.
I don't know if spiders can actually digest sugar.
Neither do I. But at least it would be a fun decoration for them.
I mean, okay, actually, do spiders eat sugar?
At least here's an excerpt from Science Direct. Choice tests demonstrated conclusively that spiders fed on nectar, honeydew, and sugar solutions to obtain nutrients, and not simply to obtain moisture.
Wow. So I guess they would eat the drop.
If it's moist enough.
Moist. Anyway.
But I presume spiders are mostly attracted to sweet things because their prey is attracted to sweet things.
Oh. Spider facts.
That's not a fact. That's a hypothesis of a thought. Like, bugs are attracted to sweet things mostly. Not all bugs, but lots of bugs. And if we're talking about inside of a home, that's where the spider should go because A, sugar, B, bugs.
Yes.
Maybe spiders should get like a mini drop put into their spider web if it's like an orb weaver or something. So that more bugs fly there to get the drop than in the spider web.
I mean, yeah. Spiders are great. Ah, there we go.
This reminds me. Bean Master.
God, Beanmeister. No, do we really want to... Oh, God. Why did you bring up Beanmeister 22?
I think he was called Bean Master 20.
Beanmeister. It actually is Beanmeister.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, right. He was German. I remember. Still is German, probably.
Maybe he even comes back to Germany now. Everything goes back. Should we make a more... Should we make some... Should we make those kind of jokes? I don't know.
You should talk more about Beanmeister.
Really, do people want to hear the story of Beanmeister 22 and his Black Widow plague? I mean... There we go. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, so, oh god. Okay, Beanmeister 22. That was a saga. Okay, so basically what happened? I think it was around 2015. Okay. It was a YouTube channel. Beanmeister 22. German guy living in the USA. So what happened is that he started making, bog standard toy review YouTube channel. Happens a lot of times. The thing is just
Expensive.
it's expensive. If you review toys, expensive. So what do a lot of toy channels do? They buy used. So Meister22 goes and buys a big box of toys from someone in California. Gets the box.
Wasn't it Canada?
It was California.
Okay,
It's like, yeah, looks at the box, everything is fine. Closes the box again, goes to bed. So, what happens next is, the next morning he wakes up, goes around the house, and suddenly he's like, that black spider is new. So he catches the black spider and
Stay close, stay alert.
brings it to an expert. And that expert says, that's a black widow. It's not native.
Where did you get it?
Where did you find it? And he's like, in my house. So he's like, that's bad. They're like, yeah. And then more black widows start showing up. Because turns out he probably he not only had one black widow in the box from California, he had probably a pregnant black widow in the box from California. And that black widow laid eggs. And there are a lot of small black widows in his house.
Yeah, like one batch of an egg sac are roughly around 200 eggs.
It's roughly 200 eggs. So that's a lot of black widows.
So then you're thinking that,
But-
that
wait.
they should be dying out, right?
Oh, yeah, then wait. We need to talk about what happens next. But in order, okay? In order.
I'm just talking about Black Widow facts.
Oh, yeah. Sure. You know what? Before you talk about that, let me put you officially on the stream then.
Because that's a very macabre, hilarious story. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you're thinking like, okay, that should be it then, right? If we catch the small ones, it's fine. No. Black Widows store the semen of whoever they mated with.
Yeah.
So that will last a long while. Luckily, he catch probably the first one. That's good.
But that still means they can just produce more. They don't need to mate anymore. It's like 200 babies go, and then 200 babies more go. 200 babies more go. They can just crank them out.
So now he has 200 babies in his apartment, apparently.
So that's bad. What to do? Well, use all the household items. Citrus stuff,
Mint,
mint.
glue traps.
Glue trap, stuff like that. The basic stuff doesn't work. So, what now? Okay, let's go and hire an expert. And twice, so for weeks, they just fill his house with toxic gas.
Yeah, like for 2 weeks you need to stay out for that. Yeah.
Doesn't work. The fucker survived. So, you're now like, what now? Okay, now they have a thing of like, shit. So, the household stuff didn't work. The professional stuff didn't work.
The aftermath.
Yes. So they actually seal off their whole fucking home. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out.
Remove like all the crumbs and everything they could eat from.
Yes. And doesn't work. Why? In a second, let's just hear this.
I'm to tell you who I really am. You trusted me and the voice in the shadows. Some warrior spirit trying to sucker me soon to be dead. Because I'm the one who should be dead. I'm Hannah. Hannah Shui. The Phantom program saved me. But we need you if we're going to save of everybody else. The time to move against Blackburn is now. That information we recovered from the Boreas facility, time for it to go public. Everyone needs to know what Blackburn has done to the Nomads. And I can't think of anyone better to shine a light on the truth.
Well, and that charm is as far as they got. I mean, not as far as they got, because we have some other things just to show people. And by the way, the Easter egg people in Battlefield are usually like locusts. That's why Easter eggs got... Like, if you think there were hidden secrets in other games, the Battlefield series was unhinged at some time.
Yeah.
They gave zombies a run for their money. I think it was in this building. So, no, it wasn't in this one. One of the buildings here. Basically, yeah, here. There's a locker, and you go on here, and you have 3 variations of a code. So, another thing is, if you now equip the unlocked charm and the thermal sight to a weapon, and you look through thermal sight, you will see symbols on the map referring to past Phantom Program Easter eggs. And if you go to the flags like D, E, C, 1, and B, there are objects hidden that you can only see through the thermal sights that are on that point, which is also randomized. And then over at the crashed VTOL plane, there are inputs you can press, and also the signs are showing up there, but again, only with thermals. And further, I cannot tell you, because, yeah, there's an Easter egg going on.
But we can tell you about Beanmeister.
Yeah, that's why I go out here, and we can literally talk more about Beanmeister. Because here's the thing. You're like, oh wait, cool. So they're starving them out, right? Yes. They seal everything off. They just keep going and clean the house, and it doesn't work because Black Widow. Fun fact: they're opportunistic cannibals.
And start to roam if they're like out of food and desperate enough.
So this is why he kept seeing around 30 Black Widows each week, because
the first one probably had already an egg sack in one of those toys. Maybe it did one over the night. And if you remember correctly, around 200 is the required size for population to sustain itself upon cannibalism alone.
Yeah. So basically what happened is that first spider cranked out 200 babies, started eating the babies, cranked out more babies.
So the first one was caught.
Yeah, the first one was caught, yeah, but that was probably not one with eggs.
Maybe not, maybe
Yeah.
yes.
So they were just constantly Black Widows around the house that kept cranking out babies to eat the babies to crank out more babies, which is insane if you think about it. So now you have a problem, right? You can't starve them out. Toxins don't work. What now?
Yeah. Because they're like, they don't want to bite you. They want to stay in their little corner.
Yeah.
Problem is that corner might also be just
Your jacket.
your jacket or a crumpled bed sheet.
Yeah. Jacket, crumpled bed.
And since they're so fucking small, you can easily squish them. And that's when the spider will bite you.
Yeah.
And since they will go hungry sooner or later, they will roam. And so they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah. So, poor things. So what happens next? He's like, he keeps talking about that on YouTube, by the way. So obviously what happens, people are like, you know what? If everything fails, natural pest control. There are things that can hunt Black Widows. I would say at 200 Black Widows in the house, you already have a problem. But, let's just try it anyway. What could go wrong? So first approach, a tarantula. So what happens is tarantula goes out, kills a Black Widow, molts, gets killed by the other Black Widows while molting. Oops. So they're like, okay, fuck. Too big, too slow, maybe we need something else. Gets 2 Israeli huntsman spiders, sorry. Which is like, okay, I guess. It's 2 of them and they're smaller and they're better hunters. It goes like this. The first huntsman spider kills the second one, and then it gets killed by the Black Widows. Just, wow. Okay.
Keep in mind, this guy has no idea about spiders or anything.
Here's the thing. We're not talking about someone who does this with a plan. We're talking about someone who does this because they're desperate.
Yes.
Okay? So, third plan. Let's get a lizard. So, puts in the lizard, and you need to keep in mind, the house is sealed off. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. So what happens? The lizard vanishes. It's not seen or heard from again. There's no body, no corpse, nothing. It's just gone.
So somehow it got out, probably.
It probably got out somehow, but again, the house was sealed off, but they just don't know. So. That's just that for the moment.
So at that point, the internet, the internet?
Yes. Basically, to this point, to this day, they don't know what happened. It's just unknown. Anyway, internet does an internet because they're like, maybe we should help this guy out. So they start sending him animals. Yeah.
We're talking here from silkworms, snakes.
Because the internet also doesn't know what they're doing, but they're just like, let's just send him stuff. What could go wrong? What could possibly go fucking wrong by sending a guy with no idea about animals, just a bunch of random animals? What could go the fuck wrong?
So the guy has no idea about animals, especially not poisonous or venomous animals.
Yeah, so he just puts them in like little jar terrariums with toys he had around because toy reviewer channel, and then it's just like what the fuck am I supposed to do with them? So he starts letting the Black Widows and the animals fight, which goes okay at some time because he's like, oh, hey, praying mantis? Yeah, okay, that's pretty good one-on-one killer. Not the worst. Does the job. But, probably not roaming around in the house.
On the side, he develops the Ziploc method of catching Black Widows in a Ziploc and...
in a Ziploc bag and smashing them because, then the other Black Widows just can't get to the corpse, for nutrients. Fuck. Because also, you can't actually kill the Black Widows by sucking them in with a vacuum because they're so small. They just survive that. So yeah.
He also tried flushing them down a toilet.
Which also doesn't work because, Black Widow fact, they can create air bubbles around them to specifically survive underwater.
Yeah, they will crawl back out the toilet. Very likely.
Yeah. So drowning isn't just...
Unless you have like a weighted thing to put like in the toilet so that there's
a seal
and there's no air.
It doesn't
then
work.
They would die.
But nope. Just doesn't. So a Ziploc bag smash, dispose of corpse somewhere where they can't eat it.
But if I remember correctly how most toilets work, they have a part even down there where there's air, so I guess there would be a permanent Black Widow population down there. You don't want that either. Since they're not native there. Like,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, they come down the other way of the drain and spread over the whole area.
I mean, probably not as bad because
Yes, that's bad.
if they're
was-
outside somewhere, it can the temperatures can drop, and that would probably kill the. Damn it.
Can.
Yeah, can, but we know the fuckers can be resilient, so
First of all,
Yeah.
that. Second of all, climate change.
true. Anyway, so now you sit in front of that problem. What the fuck are you doing now? So he just keeps doing fights. There's also like stuff like, oh,
You can't really do your toy stuff anymore because you're spending all your money on pest control shit.
so
So you need
yeah.
to keep the channel going somehow.
It's like, oh, you have a problem. Might as well make content out of it. So yeah, he basically goes and does shit like, oh hey, someone did send me this African centipede. Yeah, let's just fight it. Let's let them fight. And here's the thing. Yeah, the African centipede was really good at killing the spiders. Anyway, the African centipede is horribly poisonous,
Venomous.
worse than the fucking Black Widow even. So yeah, won the one-on-one fights a lot of times, actually, without problem. But then, yeah, okay, I mean, then one time he put 3 Black Widows in with the centipede, and shocker, the centipede didn't survive. It's like, it had a good run, didn't get, but yeah, just poisonous animals. We need to talk about.
If you're wondering why there was a spike in animal fight videos on YouTube around the time, that guy.
It's literally that guy. And also, hilariously, he also did stuff like, oh, hey, snake versus spider. Result, snakes don't eat spiders. Well, so that he didn't know. What type of snake was it? He literally says, I don't know. So this got so bad, YouTube literally closed down his channel because he was like, there were like no fucking animal fight videos.
Obviously.
Even with insects, like if you're wondering why there's a specification that insects also are not okay for animal fights, it's that guy, the guy that just sat on a fucking Black Widow problem, who just desperately tried to make money and they kept sending him fucking animals. He's just like, it is so absurd if you think about it for a second. It's just like, okay. And yeah, so he sits now there, channel gone, makes a second channel, and before that he does try to rebrand his videos as educational, but like, I mean,
The only educational thing about this is who would win in a fight.
yeah, it's like, that's not really educational, you know? It's like, yeah, they're just animals fighting to the death. It's not really educational. So, now we're like, at the point, what happens next? What could possibly happen next? So his house burns down. The animals were just out of harm's way for some reason, and also a lot of valuable stuff, you know, in terms of you know, their beds and something was, you know, surprisingly out of harm, which is like, yeah, the house burned down in quotation marks, but you know, at this point,
Can you blame him?
I cannot blame him for just incinerating his house to ashes, but also I cannot fucking blame the insurance company because, like, you need to keep in mind, this house was unsellable. It was literally unsellable. He could do nothing with it. It's just, how? I think the insurance company just literally took pity on him, was like, yeah, we finance you a new house, then there's like actually some value properly there anymore.
Yeah, so he got his old bed,
Yeah,
but since Black Widow happened, he was paranoid,
yeah, he had to be.
so he disassembled the bed.
Yeah, because, you know, you're paranoid. You're like, okay, wait, I saved some of my stuff, you know, unsurprisingly, some very valuable stuff. So, like, okay. So he just disassembled this and was like, let's check for Black Widows. So, in the leg of the bed were Black Widow eggs.
XX specifically.
XX. He would have carried them into his new house.
Yes, he would at least have another 200 Black Widows.
Yeah. Because turns out they were living in his fucking furniture. Imagine that. You're sleeping, and like literally right next to you, there are just 200 Black Widows ready to hatch. This is just...
I mean, they're afraid of you, so they don't come near you.
That's a good thing, yeah, but also like, oh god.
Yeah. So we learned about the story not too recently.
From a German YouTuber, but also just
Yes.
like... I mean, it apparently didn't get big in the English or the German circles. It's just... But it's such a fascinating story.
But here, a thought I had. He should have just bought a box of cellar spiders.
Yeah.
That would have solved the problem.
It would literally have solved the problem because... Okay, here's the thing. Why cellar spiders? So first of all, cellar spiders, you know, it's a subspecies of daddy long legs, so that's...
No, that's not...
no,
What
they
the
aren't?
fuck are you talking?
Okay, cellar spiders aren't?
Daddy longlegs is not a species.
It's a group. They call it
No.
like that.
No.
Okay.
It's just a
You are the
common name people came up with.
Okay. Basically,
They're like... You have the cellar spiders, which are literally spiders.
yeah.
Some form of bug, I think, that's also called daddy longlegs.
Okay.
And an ophiloid. Ophiloid, I don't know how to pronounce it. Which is, it looks like a spider, but it doesn't even have fangs and is a scavenger. Daddy longlegs is not the scientific name of anything.
Okay. Okay, cellar spiders. So, why? First of all, cellar spiders are not poisonous to us. At least, I mean, okay, it hurts.
They are poisonous.
They're,
Also, it's venomous again.
it's venomous, yeah.
But they're not dangerous.
Deadly. Yeah.
Not even dangerous.
Their venom is more fine-tuned to kill arthropods. So, spiders.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Also, they're way smaller, so...
Yeah. Second of all, compared to Black Widows, they are pack hunters.
They're more communal, but
They're
not
communal.
necessarily
but
pack hunters.
they're communal. So it's more like if the Black Widow shows up, they just go gang mode on them. So the Black Widow actually doesn't have a big of a chance. Doesn't have a good of a chance. Cellar spiders also build webs. Generally, they just keep building webs.
And they build them in the same places as Black Widows.
So they're literally occupying the same niches, and also, importantly, can hunt them down. Which is just kind of ironic to think about, that he might have had a chance if he just got a box of cellar spiders and then let them hunt, let them rip. Yeah. Spider.
Yeah, at the very least, worst case scenario, you replace one non-competitive plague of Black Widows with a non-compatible plague of cellar spiders.
Yeah, which one do you want to have?
The later is magnitudes better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story of Bienenmeister 22.
Maybe we talk about it next week, next Friday again.
Yeah, that we will probably bring that up again, because honestly, I think Ruben and Deb deserve to hear this story as well. Oh,
Charges planted. Make sure they detonate. Both objectives taken out. Control the sector. Sector secure. Charlie White, move up.
It's ammunition!
Yes, give me ammunition. I need to shoot more. There we go. Time to crawl back and get healed. Ooh, nice. The healer is coming to me. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Honestly, it feels a little bit like they maybe should have actually added something like suppression in this mode. As in, you know, if you shoot at the enemies, they stop being as precise. I don't know how hard that would be to do, but yeah. Hey. Da, 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 da. Hey. 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 Good. Good public. Thank you. There we go. Time to kill more robots. They really should remove that. Like, I know why they have it in, but I feel like the melee attacks sometimes just feel very cheap. Nice. Yeah, time to revive me. We have a final sector to do. Oh god. My voice again. Water.
Area secure. Advance to the next sector.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, soldier down!
Sergeant Jackson, got it covered. The enemy has secured our explosives.
Keep away from me!
Damn it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, Sally, I mean, I know that there are probably not a lot of people watching today because, I mean, I know the big times are when a new update is in, and I mean, the hot thing right now is people waiting for leaks because there's a new map in the playtest, and I mean, the NDA was broken once. And it was broken again, so, you know. People are, I think there's at least the layout of the Gibraltar map out for the next title. Which is interesting. I mean, generally looks pretty good, I would say. Yeah, fuck. Still got a hit in from somewhere. Hey, this is slowly working out, I would say. Damn. At least we do get enough revives. God damn it. But hey, we had the gold one already. Nice.
Power forces at 50% strength.
I mean, it looks generally kind of interesting. Then again, there's just there are a lot of infantry-focused maps, like directly off the bat, which really feels a lot like, yeah, we know the last game just was a bit too much vehicles all the time. So big push in the other direction now, which, you know, is fine. I generally like urban maps, and we haven't had enough of them here. Just needs a good balance, I would say. Like I wouldn't fret about, oh, are there too many urban maps? Like, listen, 3 launched with, yeah, 3 urban maps, basically. There was 1 bigger map, and we had a bunch of industrial ones, so yeah, I wouldn't be like, oh no. I mean, technically we had 4 urban maps. Nice. We are in the final sector now.
Is secure. Both objectives have been destroyed.
Damn. Another win in this mode. We got one exposure before, so... Nice to see Arika maybe happening?
That area. Head back. We're clear. Move up to the next sector.
Scrolling down for me is like, oh, I switched to the right weapon, but the second weapon, but no, I should just press 2.
Any tango who gets near him.
Yeah,
Been disabled by the enemy.
the melee kills should probably be turned off. There are just 2 things I would say that this mode might need, and that one thing is a better form of health management if you want to keep the enemies shooting. And not an insta-kill from the enemies.
Until they blow.
Oh nice, we have it.
That's it. It's over.
Woo.
We beat them. Solid effort.
That took me a whole hour. Oh no, just half an hour actually. Oh yeah, we went onto Haven for the Easter egg. It really is kind of a slow Friday. No one here. And then I wonder... Oh, apparently Room made it back. Okay, what do we got? Nice. Ooh, more progress. Let me just check really quickly. We are now at 760. Yeah, that is definitely moving closer and closer to being done. So, now the question is, should we just end it for today or should we go for another round? That's the question. I mean, you know what I'd say, we could just end it out. There's not much. It's just a slow Friday today, and yeah, Hope you had fun. Hope you liked the look at Master Tracks, and I also hope you liked just some talking about Bienenmeister 22. That wild trip of a story. Yeah. Okay. Honestly, it was kind of hard to actually settle on something today. I really wanted... there was a moment in time where I wanted to push Agonia to just play more Borderlands, but the plan is to stream it on Wednesday. So we're gonna do it on Wednesday. That's just that. Yeah. Otherwise, I heard actually some people say that Zane is actually also really good in this mode, because he basically has free health regen. So that would be one thing actually, interesting thing to do. I really have not played a lot of Engineer. Maybe I should play a bit more when there's a reason to, but so there's not a lot of vehicle stuff lately to be like, oh yeah, playing Engineer bit, going to do the repairs and stuff. Honestly, there's one thing I would say that, ironically, I think Delta Force does a little bit better than Battlefield right as of now. Like, I do like playing some Engineers, and that is to a degree because they have more unique weapons to use. And also, a key thing is that their side utility stuff is usually a bunch of anti-infantry things. So, you know, they have the barbed wire, they have the deployable shield, you know, the walls and stuff. And so, like, or the sonic suppression things, and, like, I don't know. Oh. Okay, so Ruben just said he's in voice chat if we want to still chat a bit. But you know what? Ruben wants to rant, apparently. I guess we can expand this a little bit. Do you want to join?
Sure.
Nice. That's not bad. And we can tell him about Bienenmeister 22. Wait a second. Let's put him up. And...
Hello.
Evening. Hey, Room. Just joining in.
How
at
are
the...
you guys? I know.
It's a bit of a slow week, actually. Like, okay, honestly, I just had fucking trouble. Like, I had to decide on doing something today, and frankly, I just couldn't decide because I was also, like, in the depressive phase. Like, yeah, look behind the curtain.
I'm sorry.
You know what the worst part is? I had to do this twice this fucking week because... Wednesday was, hey, do you want to settle on a new project? I have to, but I'm also depressed, so I have no emotions for anything. And I'm just like, ah! And now Friday is like, Zep isn't there. You're just maybe there later. Cool that you're still here. Lena, I don't know, was also like, can't do really much a lot. So like, fuck, what should I do? Gladly, I was settling on, you know, we're now playing Borderlands, the first game, on Wednesday. So... yay.
Fun.
Honestly, I'm very happy I got Agonia to play it. Like, I mean, I wish I could play through all the Borderlands games once with, like, a full group, but that will never happen. Like, honestly, the PS Vita port of Borderlands 2 was onto something when they said just 2 people co-op. Because you will get 2 people at best, and you should be happy about that. But it's Borderlands, and it's
2 friends, no more. You should be happy about it.
But hey, Borderlands is fun, and you know what the best part is? I actually got her to play Borderlands 1 because we played through Borderlands 2, and she played Krieg because she actually really likes Krieg. And I get it because they...
What about Borderlands 3?
Okay, here's the thing. Fun fact. we own everything of Borderlands for some reason because okay, here's the thing. I wouldn't say we're like the biggest Borderlands fans, but we appreciate the series on a lot of levels. But like the thing is more like she always wanted to play something like Krieg. Now, Krieg only really exists in Borderlands 2, which sucks. But yeah, our plan is now, because she's like, okay, she was able to settle on Mordecai, Hunter. So it's like, have a pistol. You can ignore shields and you can just do boom, big damage. So, yeah, she has fun with that, which is good, because that means she can settle for other builds in later games. So our plan is probably Borderlands 1, probably a Borderlands 2 rerun, which is not the dumbest thing, because there's a new DLC that came out. So we can play that.
New DLC for Borderlands 2?
Yeah, okay, I don't know if you noticed that. After, before Borderlands 3 happened, they actually released a new DLC for Borderlands 2 with new story content, new areas, and raised the level cap. And
they're still working on it all these years later.
It was
I know
free.
Borderlands 3 is pretty old.
It was free.
It was free. Ooh,
for 2. Yeah, for almost a decade. Nothing for Borderlands 2. And then they were like, here's a new update, and you can make new builds and everything. And I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. And then there were the miserable people who were like, this breaks all our mods. Oh, fucking cry me a river.
Can you not set the version of Borderlands 2 to like...
You can, but like...
I know, I understand it can be annoying, but if you can actually set the version of the game, because certain games you can't do that. Like, I'm pretty sure Cyberpunk, you can't set the version of the game. And that's pretty annoying, because if all your mods are based around a specific version, and obviously the game's quite old, so mod makers are not going to update the mods to the new version, really. So yeah. But
like also what happened is okay, now the DLC is like $15. They just when they released it, they were like, here it's free for a limited time. It's weird that it's just mixed, which is like people. They're just weird. It's like, oh, there comes out a free DLC, like, wait, this was bad. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's free. There's no such thing as bad as free. You get what you pay for, and
that was like
literally nothing.
And now it's like, oh, but they want money for that. Hey, listen. First of all, you probably got Borderlands in a Humble Bundle anyway. Second of all, there are sales. Like the last sale, I looked at the Pandora's Box thing, and quite literally, the last DLCs I missed for Borderlands 3. And also Tales from the Borderlands and New Tales from the Borderlands. And I know people hate the last one. I don't know why. I don't care. For $13. Just everything filled up. $13. For me.
Okay, it's currently 20 quid or 20 euros on Steam. But that's not on sale.
Yeah.
If you actually got on sale,
the sales
half
go,
that price. Yeah.
The sales go up to 90% for the bundles. Like Borderlands is cheap to get if you get it through a sale. And honestly,
it's an older game. Yeah.
And like honestly, I'm still surprised that people are so angry about the series, because like Borderlands is like probably one of the last series that really proudly takes the idea of, we are a co-op game with expansions, and that's that. Just takes on it's just, and they're like, oh, why do they want money for that? Oh boy, something has to pay the bills.
Of course, like nothing's free. Nothing's free. They spent time and effort and money. Their own.
Yeah, and
they could have been working during this, but yeah.
And I know that people, I know that people have problems with the writing in 3, and I saw why. But like basically everyone says 3 is like the best gameplay wise and the worst in terms of writing, which is like, yeah, it's a shame, I guess. But hey, 4 could be better.
Yeah.
Like if the games continually have just better gameplay, and the problem is the writing, hire different writers, and they hired apparently a bunch of really good writers. So yeah, I'm like very much up for that. I like Borderlands. So the general idea now is we play through that. We probably will play through 2 then again, because I don't think that bad. But then I can play Krieg again. And I
Are
will
you
not.
looking to? Are you looking to play Borderlands 4, which is apparently coming out in
yeah.
September this year?
Yeah, we could.
Honestly, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know if we get to. I don't think we will get through 2 pre-sequel and 3 during that time, considering pre-sequel is apparently relevant. But like, yeah, actually no. If it comes out, I wouldn't mind that. Like, hey,
It should be coming out later this year. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay, by the way, do you want to actually play something, or should I just do another round of Battlefield?
You could just do another round.
You're
It's
done?
been a long day. It's been
You've
a
been
long
on
day.
trains.
And I'm about. So I had some. You know what Perry is, right?
No.
Pear cider. Very tasty. It's like cider,
Oh,
but
yeah.
basically it's much more sweeter because pears have a higher amount of sugar in. So even if you ferment it to the same percentage alcohol, there's still a lot more sugar left over. So it's quite sweet. I quite like it. It's very nice. It's
By the way, I will just go really quickly to the toilet, and then we can talk.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it was quite nice. Yeah, I'm having that with some vodka because long day.
Yeah.
Very long day. Very stressful past week. Oh my goodness. Oh.
I mean, you had already
I had-
stressful things planned. So
Well, yes, it was planned in advance. I knew what was happening, but just it's a long week, so I had some training I had to do for work, and the funny thing was, the training they used to do over a week, and the amount of stuff they were doing for the training, it's like it would be the equivalent of about 2 or maybe 3 weeks if you were doing uni, like coursework stuff. That's like the time they were spread out over if you were doing the same stuff at uni. But firstly, when they do it for us as a company, they compact it down to a week because obviously, like, we're paid by the hour, so it's like, well, we don't just spend a bunch of hours for this training sort of stuff. And even then, they compacted it even further from like 5 days to 4 days, so it's even more dense. So the amount of work you're doing, the amount of stuff they're covering, that would usually take like 2-3 weeks, they were doing in 4 days. So it was just very it was a very accelerated course what we were doing basically. So there was just lots and lots of information and very little time to absorb it. So that was very fun. And even then, I missed the last day of that. I still got the notes for it, thankfully, because they sent me an email sent us an email with all the lecture notes and all that sort of stuff. But even then, I had to travel for Grandpa's funeral, basically. And if you know anything about my family, there's a lot of us. So there were about 150 to about 200 people at the funeral. About 100 of that is just family, purely like blood and either like spouses and such relations, basically.
yeah, like very closely related family.
Very, very closely related family. 100 of that plus is just family. So there's a lot of us. There's oh my goodness. I think there's about how many my dad's side? There's about 8 brothers and 1 sister on my dad's side. So, and even then, a lot of them had a lot of kids as well. So there's just an absolute ton of grandkids. I think there's about 60 plus grandkids, grandchildren, and that's not including like people who have gotten married or boyfriends or girlfriends and such, basically. So lots and lots of people. So it's a very packed affair, and you throw in the whole like religion aspect. Like you guys know how quite a part of my family was like Mormon, stuff like that. So there was a large potential for drama over stuff. Thankfully, for the most part, there wasn't too much. People generally got on. There wasn't any like family feuds. There wasn't any like fights or arguments. Yeah, maybe some stuff that was said that shouldn't have been said in this sort of environment, but it wasn't too bad. Mostly until the main service, which was interesting. There was a lot of good stuff. Like hearing a lot of stories about my grandpa and stuff like that. And,
Oh, cool.
because I didn't know as much about his life and all that, but yeah, the thing is, there was this one guy. So obviously my grandpa was like Mormon, but the fun fact about it is my grandma is not anymore. So even we were having part of the service at this Mormon church basically, and one of the pastors there basically, I think, though in good faith and with good intentions, maybe apparently misinterpreted some of the plans and kind of decided to sort of proselytize at the funeral. Sort of going with the whole...
That's kind of what they used to. If you're like, I guess if you're Mormon, you're more used to like meeting other Mormons, so you're more used to like preaching to the choir, basically.
I mean, even then, like about half of the, bit less than that, about 40%.
Yeah.
There are quite a lot of Mormons still in the family, and Grandpa still was Mormon, but
yeah, I'm just.
It was just
saying,
kind of
if
like,
you're like
so
a Mormon
it was-
preacher, I assume they just presume in those situations a lot.
little bit. That's what I assumed. That's what I heard happened, basically. But it was more just like, so it was kind of giving the sales pitch a little bit in a way. This is kind of being a little bit cynical, but he was kind of giving the sales pitch to the religion, sort of, and yeah, it was kind of came at the worst time because my sister Chloe, so she's great with music, and she actually wrote a song for the funeral about grandpa. So obviously that was very emotional. People were very tearful. I was tearing up, obviously. And then comes the guy who decides to proselytize a bit, or expecting sort of a very Mormon audience.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm back by the
So
way.
it wasn't very tactful, and yeah, and
Not-
especially because Grandma is not Mormon as well. So it's kind of like, I'll give the example of, so her husband has died, and the guy's going on, oh, in our religion, you can see your husband again back in the afterlife if you just follow our religion and give us a bunch of money if you know anything about the Mormon Church.
That's-
God.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, boy.
but yeah, the Mormon Church has a larger investment fund than SoftBank, who, funnily enough, just bought Ampere Computing. I mean, they're the ones who own WeWork, if you remember that, and ARM, the company ARM, the British company ARM, who owns the ISA for every smartphone, all of Apple's computers now, they are a big company. So they are, it's $100 billion plus. They own 2% of, well, not the Mormon Church owns like 2% of the landmass of Florida. They're just very rich. So it's just
Yeah.
it's not good. It was just not the best.
Yeah, churches
Situation,
should not
yeah.
own things in that way. They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah. I've been playing a bunch of actually I just finished Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and it's quite funny to see how a lot of the views of the Catholic Church in the early 15th century, basically, to be honest, they're kind of similar a little bit in terms of like, oh, there's graft, and oh, they kind of focus too much on earthly matters.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're kind of...
It's like, honestly, the Roman Catholic Church is a very fascinating subject in that matter, because they were like a political entity, and like, holy shit, this was...
especially throughout the whole... So this is set in the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you guys know. So, yeah, it's very... I very much enjoy the game. I would very much recommend it if I get a chance to play it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about how churches develop, and like, I will keep saying that, what people need to keep in mind about American churches is like, those are the splinter groups of the splinter groups. Like, yeah, obviously they are unhinged. They were too unhinged for the unhinged ones.
The Catholic Church was unhinged originally.
It
so you
was,
got
but, like-
unhinged of that unhingedness. Then you got unhinged of that unhingedness with like, so from like basic Protestantism to like Methodist and Baptist and everything, and
Yeah. I mean, there's
The
a lot
Catholics were the ones that came up with buying your salvation
of
several times
Like the thing
until they
is,
had enough backlash.
I mean, I would say, at least on the continent, there's a bit more going on. Like, for example, the Catholic Church, like during the medieval ages, for example, used a lot of times their wealth. Like, you need to keep in mind, all those churches, like a lot of buildings of the church, were not only there because, you know, they wanted to show off, but they kind of filled a role similar to the pyramids, as in, like, building Notre Dame kept so many people with jobs, period, for generations. Like, it's like, you know, oh, you're
it's infrastructure, but sort of for your spirits in a way.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, you're a stonemason, and you're really, really talented. You can actually refine your craft, because you will give this down to your grandchild, and they have a safe place on that fucking building. So yeah, that was used to a degree there, and
I mean, how long did Notre Dame take? 600, 800 years?
it took a long time. Like, that's the thing. I'm not saying that the Roman Catholic Church is good. Not in a long shot. But, like, I mean, they did use that to a degree also to be like, hey, we like you, so we will channel that money into your
some
area.
very cool aesthetics.
They did make
some
great
very cool
aesthetics.
aesthetics. I think that's pretty. That's pretty.
They did make great
universally.
aesthetics. They also just, let's just be real here, they had some...
I mix it up. The
Notre
Notre Dame took 182 years.
Yeah.
The long one is the Cologne Cathedral.
Yeah, the German ones, they had to be stopped. They were only finished like later. That's like Notre Dame was actually 182 years constant building. Like,
Yeah.
that was a
Cologne took 632 years, but with pauses, I think.
yeah. And the one in Barcelona is still not finished. It was supposed to finish this year from Gaudi.
What's it called? What's it called again? The one in Barcelona.
No, I don't know how it was called again, but it was made. It was designed by Gaudi. So beautiful, beautiful church, by the way. If you can.
Oh, absolutely, architectural masterpiece. But
it's Gaudi.
Still not finished.
I'm sorry. That's just the thing with churches, you know, they just take time.
Sagrada Familia?
Yes.
that's it. Yeah.
You see what I mean with that thing is beautiful as fuck.
That's how you know that I stopped playing Case of Cud for now, because I can actually search for things.
Yes! Great, and then we can ramble about shit and bring up Bienenmeister 22 later.
Yes.
Again. But yeah, the Roman Catholics were like, it's a very complicated history. Like, they were like basically okay. I mean, for example, we joke a lot about how the Crusades were like a whole shit show, but like, holy shit, I cannot state that the Crusades really started with good intentions. Like, no one
They
could have.
really didn't.
What? I mean, no, they
They
were
really
like.
didn't.
They were like,
Or
hey,
did they? I don't know.
the general idea of the Crusades were like, we have a lot of warring, just roaming knights without a job in Europe, and they keep fighting. That's bad. We don't want wars there.
I wouldn't say it was good intentions, but let's say it's a politically sound move.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
that's
that's probably a better description.
and they were like, let's just send them all somewhere else, help the Byzantines a bit, and that's like just a win-win-win situation. What do you mean they started killing the Jews? No! Oh no!
Because of course.
Then they started the war against the.
Then they sieged Constantinople.
I mean, it was there.
Oh, but it's a holy war, not a jihad.
Oh god! And then it's like, what do you mean? Just a few thousand children just died on their way to. What were they doing there? I think that's probably one of the funniest bits about the Children's Crusade. That when it, when that happened, the church was like, "Oh, that's like, wait, what? Oh no, those are too many children at once."
Remember when the Catholic Church needed to introduce the whole "if you kill yourself, you can't go into heaven"
Oh yeah, that was also
because
a
it
thing.
was the obvious loophole.
Yeah, because they were like, if you die, you go to a nice place, and a lot of people
As
were like,
long as you confess your sins and profess your faith in Christ.
yeah. So they were just
And then, you kill
They-
yourself, and then, it's all perfect. Yeah, you go.
It makes sense.
Yeah, that is ironically what happened.
You're speed running. You're speed running going to heaven.
Yes.
Yeah, they were literally like, death doesn't suck. There's a nice place if you believe in the Lord and.
Yeah. And then they obviously had a lot of suicide problems. So the people in charge who were knowing they were selling bullshit were basically like, maybe don't.
Actually, no.
If you kill yourself, you're going to hell now. It's like, okay.
What a shit show. Yeah, but like, there's a Roman Catholic Church, long history. But there were at least times where they just, especially times they were like, maybe we should stop with a lot of things.
Yeah, but
Maybe we were a little bit the bad guys.
yes, they were.
Yeah. And a bunch of popes were like, maybe we should be less shit to queer people. Maybe we should just stop being that shitty in general.
I mean, yes, you're right.
Maybe we shouldn't pogrom the Jews. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we should treat them nicely.
Let me just put it like this: the Roman Catholic Church, at the very least, they're doing baby steps. I mean, they're still denying the whole sexual assault allegations, which is like,
They're kicking and screaming. They're being dragged to more progressive ways.
yeah, because
But then again, like, it's understandable that they can't handle the Jews from, doctrinal problem. Like, you have the whole treat your neighbor as yourself, but then you have buy your slaves from the heathens around you. It's like,
yeah. By the way, that thing was literally. By the way, if anyone's like, by the way, the Roman Catholic Church, for basically all the time, was staunchly against slavery. You have to.
which is technically against their own fucking Bible.
That is true, but like, at least you know what? That is interestingly a very consistent stance in the Roman Catholic Church. They just were against slavery.
So,
However, then the whole there's America happened, and then a lot of Spaniards and such were like, we need a workforce, and then they were like, wait, the rules say, buy it from the heathens. Wow, those Muslims on the African coast are actually selling people. Well, that's useful because that is literally in line with our doctrine. Yeah, that's a thing that I know a lot of anti-slavery movements were very much fueled by Christians, and I do not want to diminish that, but
I mean, it's hard not to if, like, at
yeah,
that time,
Christian
most-
socialists exist.
yeah,
they were
Exist and existed.
yeah.
For a
But that's-
reason, so, yeah.
I will keep saying that the Christianity has brought forward a lot of
Which just make it
socialist
kind of
thinking.
funny during the Soviet Union, they banned Christianity and tried to crack down on it. Sort of.
I mean,
Oh, sorry.
honestly,
Was it banned or was it? I knew it was
it was
cracked down on.
banned
but-
in the beginning, yeah. But
Yeah, I
like,
think
banned in the beginning,
the Soviet
sorry, yeah.
Union tried to like forcefully remove religion, which
Didn't end well.
not a bright move.
yeah, I mean, you need to keep in mind this: the Soviets had a lot of beef with a lot of things. Like, for example,
Stalin had beef with the concept of genetics. For example,
yeah,
like he didn't like that at all.
yeah. I mean, also a big thing you need to keep in mind that the Soviets at the beginning were also staunch, how's it called, prohibitionists.
Yeah,
Which
but then they
makes-
changed their mind because taxes.
Like, you need to keep in
money.
mind the general attitude towards the church is usually like it's just always a bit complicated. Like, for example, in the Soviet Union, there especially in Russian in Russia, in imperialist Russia during the era of the Tsar, the church, the Orthodox Church especially, was basically a main factor in justifying serfdom, justifying the state, and also justifying the oppression of women. And if you're like kind of anti-authoritarian and also kind of feminist, you will start having a very, very big axe to grind with that prominent religion in your region. There was a lot more to that. I'm simplifying it to hell and back, but this is like a big thing. Like, there's a reason why Lenin said religion is opioids for the masses, because it was used to pacify and pacify people and legitimize
Legitimize.
The rule of the Tsar, the very brutal rule of the Tsar, I should add. And then you also had the thing that, well, aside from the spiritual opioid that the religion was, like, the Russians were heavy drinkers for a reason, and the Soviets were prohibitionists because they were just like, yeah, listen, vodka is just there so you're complacent. So they banned vodka.
So it did end up being quite useful for them because, the Soviets weren't exactly great rulers.
I mean, that's honestly, I think the biggest part we can say about that, we just don't know a lot, because so much was just shaped by Stalin. Because you need to keep in mind the reason why the prohibition thing was also lifted was was because Stalin. Because the whole pacify. Because here's the thing: he needed a way to pacify the people. So if you have how's it called? He didn't want the religion to be back, because he was like, yeah, they might just go and
That's an alternative power source, basically.
Yes.
Power base, sorry.
like that bridge was to a degree burned. Oh fuck. That bridge was just to a degree burned, but also it was like, you can still just eat out like actual drugs. So, and it was not the worst idea to have some alcohol during a war. Like, we know from Wiki 3, alcohol boosts morale. So do cigarettes. So just, yeah.
If you have enough opium, you don't feel your destroyed teeth from the chocolate.
Yes. But there's just a lot of that. It's just, the thing with religion is, you just have to sit there and be like,
Religion is, in the end,
It's a tool.
it's a tool, and it's a very unfortunate thing. in the sense that you can bring people to do a lot of shit they wouldn't normally do. It's not the only tool to do it. But yeah, I don't know how much I should give religion flag there. Like, if we didn't have it, we had one reason less for war.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is a net positive in my opinion, because I don't think you can get anything positive out of religion that you can't get without it. But
What's good about it isn't unique, and what's unique about it isn't good.
yes.
yeah, that is actually a really
Yeah.
good thing.
And at the
yeah.
same time, as we discussed with the Soviet Union, trying to forcefully bring people to not believe in irrationality is never a good move.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
what are you expecting? Like, it's not good. The only thing, which in the long run will quote unquote remove religion in the sense that people will stop believing it that sincerely or at all, is higher living standards.
fair. Yeah, because people go to religion when your living standards are ass. That's a big
Even
thing.
then, I don't think it will completely go away.
Oh, probably not. No, that's one thing. I'm not saying
That's
probably,
why I say like if or at all.
yeah, like
Oh,
we
okay,
know
yeah,
that.
sorry.
For
I'm not
example-
expecting that to happen, and even if it were to happen, I'm not expecting that in 100 years.
I mean, also we just have the problem right now, quote unquote, that like if you look at Europe, like Europe is very much on a declining trend when it comes to religion. It's literally like, oh yeah, people are in the church, or sometimes visit the church, and or maybe not do some are like, yeah, I
More of a
guess there's
cultural
something
thing rather than
it's
like an
it's a
actual
cultural
religious
thing, and maybe just some habits, like you're feeling you're anxious about some stuff. Couldn't hurt to just hope that there is maybe someone listening to you, stuff like that. It's very much like it is so weird that I always hear like, oh yeah, Japan is spiritual, they're not really religious, and I just sit there being like, yeah, but Europe is to a big degree the same. It's the
Wait,
execution.
Japan not being religious. I mean, you've got the whole shit. I mean, I guess there's a cultural aspect of like Shintoism from what
It's
I've
more
heard.
like-
Lots of young people in Japan are only basically doing it out of respect
Yeah,
for the culture.
Yeah,
They're not really
yeah.
believing it at that point.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
As far
one.
as I've heard.
Yeah, it's more of a thing of, yeah, you go to the temple and pray for a good life, a good year ahead, when there's New Year, or stuff like that. But like,
Same like some people go to the, I know how it's called in English, the whole where they recreate in a play the whole Jesus story and stuff.
yeah,
At least the
The
first one.
nativity, that's it in English. I
yeah,
think.
it's just it's a thing, They're like, yeah, it's if you're Christian, if you're living in a
To be
Christian
fair,
country,
even
and
if religion were gone tomorrow, we would still have plays about it because it's a big part of our culture and history.
that's just a thing. And I'm like, that's probably like the birth of Christ is probably like one of the most milquetoast stories out there. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Milk toast.
No, I mean, sorry. Like, there is really nothing to like. Here's the thing.
There's a
If
magical
there's-
baby born, and people go there to pay respects to the magical baby.
Yeah, and also there's just little bit about. The Romans were just like a bit afraid and like. Sure,
The Romans existed back then.
sure. Like,
Yeah.
give a child.
They didn't like an alternative power base, did they? No, they wanted their own. They wanted to keep their own. So
Yeah.
what else would they do?
Yeah, and until
But-
it turned
but-
out like just praying is easier than giving like animal sacrifices and similar.
Yeah,
So-
there's a reason to. I mean, I will always say there's a reason Christianity got it got very popular, and one of the main reasons is you didn't need to be circumcised.
Also.
Until the weird ones were like, maybe we should bring that back, and it's like, why are you like that, America?
I don't know.
I mean, I will. By the way, if anyone's like, oh, but there are medical, listen, everything you hear about that there might be medical benefits to circumcision is literally bogus science sponsored by American churches.
I mean, technically,
Okay.
if you go, like, look really closely, okay? Yes, there is a slight, like a
0.
point something,
0.3%.
yeah, better chance to not contract certain STDs when you have unprotected sex when you're circumcised.
Yeah.
You could also just wear a condom.
That is one thing. That is the thing they always
For
leave
the
out.
love of God, just wear a fucking condom.
Yes, because you know what the rate is for condoms? 99%.
There's 99 point. There's a number of nines
Yeah,
after that.
they
I think,
can
as
say
well.
they can
So,
say
yeah.
100, but like it is so close to 100. Who cares? And by the way, this is the only benefit they ever found, and it's highly contested and debated.
Yeah.
And it's still thrown around as a reason to do it. And you need to keep in mind, this is like, it ignores all the downsides because, for example, as we now know, circumcising someone actually decreases sensitivity. It actually makes
Makes sense because in the skin you remove, there's
Yeah.
a lot of nerves for erogenous stuff.
yeah.
And also, like, if you remove it, then you don't have the moisturizing effect anymore, and the thing dries out. And
Yeah, which is, by the way, the reason they say for, you might not contract as easy, but like, it's barely a percent, so like, who the fuck cares? But also, you need to keep in mind that, you know what? They like to throw around depression a lot. You know what? Circumcised people, on average, are depressed because they, just don't have nice sex.
not as easy as
Or as easy, yeah. So, fun.
yeah.
And there's also there seems to be now a study that yes, while there might be you don't even know some benefits, but like for example, from what I know, fungal shit can actually now get easier on there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can we just kind of?
Okay, yeah,
Can we
sorry,
kind of
just-
I'm very squeamish. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
How about we talk about Beanmaster 22?
Okay, Ruben, can you talk about spiders?
Yeah, spiders are fine.
Okay.
It's just sort of. I'm terrible with like body parts and like.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister's a nurse, and when she talks about, so she was doing like helping with like knee surgery and stuff. And it was just like
Yeah,
When
okay.
it comes to like a lot of human body parts, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm terrible with it.
Honestly, that is I just remember that because like
It's
okay,
understandable. We're talking technically about mutilation, so yeah.
it is mutilation. Let's just say it. Sorry.
No worries.
I can say one thing. This is basic. This is, by the way, this kind of talk. Being able to do that is a hidden superpower because So I sometimes I worked a bit at a hospital because my parents work there and it's like practica and such. You just got them there easily, and if you go to like lunch, sometimes it was just full, or some people were still sitting at desk and just talking. And the thing is, if you're friends with the biology department, so the thing is, they're like, okay, there's a table where people sit, but there's like 2 seats next to them still free. So 2 of them sit down and just start talking about the things they dissected that day. Anyway, that table is free very fast.
Yeah, that's very much medical stuff.
Yeah, this is very hilarious in my opinion, but yeah. Anyway,
We talked about it already on stream, but I think there was only one person on stream
hey, if you're
at that
listening,
point. So sorry if you
Also,
already know, but
so you might, you heard for the first time, Beanmeister 22. So Beanmeister 22, it's a German toy YouTuber living in the USA. Kind of important. So you know those toy reviewed YouTubers, right? Mm-hmm. You also know the biggest problem of toy YouTubers, right?
Advertisements and it's
Money.
not good for young kids.
yeah, that also, yeah. But
Money.
luckily we won't dive into that kind of topic here.
Yeah. The main thing is money, because toys are expensive, and if you need to keep reviewing toys, you need to buy toys. So, So, what does the crafty toy YouTuber do? You buy them used. So, one day, Dienmeister22 goes and orders some toys from California. Gets them sent in a box. They arrive. He looks into it. It's like, everything's here. Nice. Closes the box. Goes to bed. The next morning, he wakes up and it's like, he goes around the house and it's like, that's a spider I haven't seen yet. So he captures the spider and brings it to an expert. And the expert is like, that's a Black Widow. Where the fuck did you find that? And he's like, in my house. And the expert is like, yeah, that's not good. So yeah, there was a Black Widow. First of all, he just tries to assess how many, but it was apparently a pregnant Black Widow.
The one he found, not.
The one he found wasn't, but apparently in the box of toys from California was a pregnant Black Widow. So he starts, trying to do some,
First of all, what does that mean?
Okay. No, we can get to that. We can get to that. So.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
What does it? A pregnant Black Widow. Okay? Per batch lays 200 eggs.
That's a lot.
God.
Yeah.
Also, they keep the sperm from mating, so
they can just keep farting out eggs
for a long time.
So that's a problem. Basically, Dienmeister22 now goes and it's like, okay, fuck it. Glue traps, vinegar sprays, raid, the usual stuff you do. Doesn't work. Okay, what do you do when the usual stuff doesn't work? You go and hire an expert. So
did they not just have fire, just burn it all, just dump it on a dump fire?
I mean,
bonfire.
You know what?
We will come to that.
We will get to that. So, gets to an expert, and the house gets basically gassed with poisonous gas for 2 weeks. Like it takes a while. They do this twice. Doesn't work. The spiders are still there.
I think there were 30 sightings per week.
Yeah, and they just didn't.
If you know anything about Black Widows, the fuckers are live in crevices.
Yeah,
they're very hard to get rid of from.
Yeah,
what I can guess.
But
basically,
in general, they like small, dark places.
So
and they're very small themselves. So if you see 30 of them per week, shit's up.
Especially, and this is important, they usually do webs. Except when they're hungry, then they run around in search of new food. Another thing that happened, so their new plan was basically, let's just seal off the house completely, clean every day, starve them out. Doesn't work. Because, fun fact, you remember the 200 spiders per batch and they can just keep eating them out? So to think about...
They eat each other, sorry.
Yeah, Black Widows are opportunistic cannibals. So
at a certain population size, they can sustain themselves on themselves.
Meaning that that Black Widow that initially came yeets out 200 small Black Widows, eats them to yeet out more Black Widows, and repeat the cycle.
Until maybe some of them are big enough to do that themselves.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? Also, they can't just be, you've tried to flushing them down the toilet, but turns out Black Widows actually create air bubbles around them and they can swim, so they just crawl back up through the toilet. He tried sucking them in, but with a vacuum, but because they're so small,
most of them survive.
Most of them survive.
That's the only way. Fire. Flamethrower.
Ironically, he found an egg sac in the vacuum later.
Yeah. So.
Oh god.
Okay. So you're at this point. The professional didn't work. The house stuff didn't work. And you're just stuck with Black Widows. What the fuck are you doing now? So YouTube gets up to an idea. Just let nature do its thing. just take another predator and let them hunt the spiders. So his idea
The
is
Simpsons approach.
yes.
There's literally a Simpsons episode.
I know,
based on
there's
this,
always
so-
a Simpsons episode. Okay, but what they do is, they got a tarantula and put it out in the house. And the tarantula actually got, it got a spider, a black widow. And then the black widows killed it during molting.
Oh god.
So it was like, fuck. Next plan, he got 2 Israeli huntsman spiders. Hey, Mr. Rogers, welcome to the saga of Bienenmeister 22. So, you want a quick overview of what happened so far?
Can you just talk?
And what happened after that?
Okay,
Sorry.
basically, German toy YouTuber in the USA buys a box of toys from California. That box probably contained a pregnant Black Widow. So now he just has a lot of Black Widows in his house. Tries
That's
to
an
remove
actual
them.
danger as well because they're very
Yeah.
poisonous to humans.
Yeah, that's the next problem.
Yeah, like if it was just a few, they would at least keep their distance and be in crevices, so not that much of a problem. Like there are people living, there are people living where they are. But if you have like that many,
Yeah. So thing is, tried the normal methods, didn't work. Tried an exterminator, didn't work. Then they tried sealing their house off and cleaning constantly to starve them out. Didn't work because Black Widows are opportunistic cannibals. So at a certain population size, and a Black Widow can fart out 200 eggs per batch, and also they keep the sperm from mating, so they can just keep doing that. So they just
they basically sustain themselves on
so
themselves.
they just
as I
can't
said.
stay themselves on themselves. So the whole thing, it just didn't work out. So now we're at the point where where his YouTube comments just said, just put out natural predators. Try putting he put tarantula free in the house. The tarantula killed one Black Widow, got killed by the other Black Widows during molting. And now he tried 2 Israeli huntsman spiders. It was like, hey, they're smaller, they're more agile, and there are 2 of them. So one Israeli huntsman spider kills the other, then gets killed by the Black Widows. He then buys a lizard. So you need to keep in mind that house is sealed. Nothing gets in or out. He puts out that lizard. They have to go on a trip for like a few days. They come back, the lizard is gone. No body, no stuff, nothing. To this day, they do not know what happened to the lizard. It just vanished. Never to be
It's
seen.
dead.
Who knows? Okay, so at this point you're like, okay, fuck, what are you doing? So, his YouTube comments are like, we need to help the guy. So because he had the, because toy YouTuber, he had a postal address, they just start sending him animals. And he just doesn't know what to do with them because, he has no idea about animals.
Isn't that illegal? Isn't that?
No, it's the USA. I don't know what's legal there. He just gets sent live animals.
Like silkworms, bugs,
Lawless hellscape.
spiders.
What fucking lawless hellscape? Poor Seth, he has to live there. We should make a fund to get him to move to Europe. He can live in the Netherlands. He could be near his friends. He could be in next to Germany.
Yeah.
So he got
There's
sick.
a train straight from London to the Netherlands. It's perfect.
What kind of edibles? Weed is legal here, so that's one thing. Generally, weed is legal now in Germany, so
I think you can't buy edibles, but you can technically make them.
yeah. So not
Did you buy some THC stuff or?
Yeah.
Or I can't remember.
CDB, not THC.
You can buy
Sorry, yeah.
you can buy
Close enough.
grass basically.
Yeah, you can buy wheat. It's legal. But yeah, the thing is that how's it called?
What did he got? Silkworms, bugs, spiders,
Everything.
snake,
Yeah.
centipedes.
So the thing
everything.
is, he doesn't know what to do with them because he just, it's like, the fuck, he keeps getting animals, so he just puts them like in glasses and, with like toys in them. It's like, I guess I have animals now. But, like, at this point, you need to keep in mind, this house is unsellable. He just sits on a house he can't sell or do anything about. It's just there. And they're still the Black Widows, so what do? Keep turning them into content. So he uses the animals he gets sent to
This will be macabre. Yeah.
and puts them in one-on-one fights against the Black Widows.
Absurd.
Yeah.
But you have to keep in
I'm
mind.
pretty sure that's animal abuse.
Yes.
Oh, Ruben, we will get to that. So he puts them in, and it's like, there's stuff like Praying Mantis versus Black Widow. Praying Mantis wins. Like, the spider pay for rent. I mean, it did pay the rent. I have to give them that. Then you're, like, okay, wins. Then he's like, oh, hey, an African centipede.
The thing won pretty much every one-on-one until it was 1v3 and it didn't won anymore.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, wait a second, African centipedes, aren't those, like, even more poisonous than...
Venomous.
Even more venomous than Black Widows? Yes, they are.
Which he didn't know, by the way.
He didn't know.
He was very lucky to survive handling that one.
he just didn't know. And they actually did send him a bunch of just venomous spiders.
Lawless fucking hellscape.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Or like, there was spider versus snake. Result: snakes don't eat spiders. He didn't know that. He didn't even know what snake it was. He was asked like, "What snake is that?" And he literally said, "I don't know."
The end result was basically they ignored each other.
So like, that's a draw. So yeah, but the thing is, that just got really fucking popular because
That was 2015, I think.
yeah, that was around 2016, 17 or so. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It was a bit later. He started the channel in 15, and this. I mean, listen, Rogers. If you sit in a house full of Black Widows that don't go away, and people keep sending you random venomous animals, and you somehow have to pay the bills, who cares at this point? By the way,
Do you not worry about the ant?
I would say he was too stressed out to worry about anything
yeah.
at that point.
And so what happened next is that he tried the lizard again. By the way, didn't work. Not that the lizard died; it just wasn't effective enough. So yeah, he does those animal fights because, well, the upside, hey, they get popular and they make money. Downside, people keep sending him more animals. Oops. Then YouTube comes and is like, yo, stop the animal fights, dude.
If you remember in YouTube's terms of service, like insects are specifically called out to still count as animal fights. This guy is the reason.
Yeah, because he kept doing animal fights with insects. YouTube literally specified insects also count as animal fights, you fucking idiots.
Good. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, and this is and he literally tried to rebrand them as educational, but YouTube was like, "Are you trying to bullshit us?"
So it obviously didn't work, and his channel got taken down.
Yeah, his channel got taken down.
He made a new one though.
He made a new one. Yeah.
So you know how like in tons of places there's often weird rules for a lot of reasons, and often that's because someone stupid person has done something completely batshit insane.
Yes, and that
and
is
to make that rule.
Yep,
And
that is that person for
how would you
YouTube.
feel as a human being that you're the reason that one of these, like, what you would think is common sense rules has to be specified.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you're
mean,
the person.
I don't think he
that
will
go-
feel that badly about it in the sense that, like, he lives in America, not having money. There's kind of a death sentence most of the time. Like,
okay, but basically how the story
from that
continues...
perspective, I get it, but
Like, how the story continues is, so after basically YouTube closed the, his main source of income, and, he's still in that house full of Black Widows, it burns down. So,
Of course.
yes. He was able to save a lot of valuable furniture, like his bed, and the animals are fine, which is like, but the house completely incinerated. It's gone. It burned down. So listen, at this point, let that house burn.
yes.
Yeah. So here's the thing. The insurance is like, yeah, that definitely was a normal cause. We rebuilt you a new house. So they just literally took pity on him. Like, no, screw to bed. Okay. Yeah, here's the thing. Before they were moving into the new house, the guy got paranoid. So he actually went and just disassembled his furniture. And when he looked into one of the hollow legs of his bed, there were XX.
Oh gosh.
The fucking Black Widows were living inside of his furniture the whole fucking time.
It's an infestation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he threw the whole stuff out.
He threw everything out. Just nothing remained. Like, literally, the solution to his problem was burn the house down. And now he's...
We learned about that story a while back.
Yeah, by the way, just to say, he's still making YouTube videos, but no more animal fights. He's back to toy YouTubers. And also, turns out, he actually started developing an interest in, snakes and spiders, and, actually keeps them as pets and actually makes educational videos about them now. Because he genuinely was like, he started learning about them and finds them fascinating. He actually has Black Widows now in an enclosed space where they can't escape.
And they don't breed.
They don't breed. So,
That's a good idea.
yeah. So,
Interesting
this-
thought I had while we were learning about that story.
Yeah.
He could have just bought a box of cellar spiders.
It's just like, I think, one Black Widow that can't mate. So it's actually safe in that regard. Even if it escaped, it would just die at some point.
Yeah, they're not native there.
Yeah.
So one interesting thing I was just thinking about is, so do you know how if you ever go to like a public bathroom, there's always signs that say like, don't squat on the toilet, don't wash your feet in the sink.
Not here. But what is
Surprisingly common here.
Britain? What?
leave the place as like you found it. Let's see what else. Oh, there was some like don't leave shit on the toilet. Like actual signs. There was one specific one at one place I was at that actually had the like your country wants you, like that sort of picture. Yeah, it was that your country wants you to not leave the toilet in a horrible fucking state.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Everything.
and the thing is, that's there for a reason. Because people have left it in that such a horrible space, and like people have squatted on the toilet.
Wow.
So I'm just thinking, what kind of person?
I guess
Yeah.
someone
And even
who
then,
doesn't
how
want to
does it
sit on a
feel to be
toilet.
the person that actually is the reason behind why they have to do that now?
I mean, squatting on a toilet seat, I can imagine someone who normally brings like an overlay to public toilets and forgot it. And now desperately needs to take a dump, but doesn't want to sit on a toilet.
There's
Yeah.
toilet paper for that. You could use toilet paper.
I don't know. People
Yeah.
are weird. Maybe they were drunk. I don't know.
I mean,
know in
it-
certain parts of the world, like squatting on toilets is a more common thing, sort of. But I
mean,
don't know.
Old Japan
Maybe.
had squatting toilets. Where you couldn't sit on them. You needed
Yeah.
to squat.
Yeah, that sort of thing in certain places.
and even
I
they
think
get
it
out
was,
of.
Was it maybe in Africa, in West Africa, maybe? I'm probably wrong in this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, they're easy to
There are
build.
different customs in different places around, going to the bathroom, obviously.
Yeah.
So it was just more like, yeah. But yeah, there's a reason why there's like signs about that now. And I feel sorry for the person
Yeah.
Basically, my
who
idea.
caused that sign to
Okay.
be enacted.
But yeah, back to this. Back to the story. Yeah, Agonia was like, couldn't he just buy a certain, like, a very common spider actually? And turns out, yes, cellar spiders are actually natural predators of, black widows, and most importantly, they're not harmful to us really.
Well, that's good. I mean,
Like, here's
better
a-
than the Black Widow.
First of all, yes, they are venomous, but their venom isn't, deadly to us. And also, importantly, it's basically designed to be really effective against spiders.
Arthropods,
Second.
I think.
Arthropods.
Yeah.
Second, another key thing that makes cellar spiders so good is that they, they build nets in the same space as black widows are, and they prey on them. And
They
also,
Yeah, and the hunting strategy is basically like more silk based. Mm-hmm. Like they do not have sticky webs, but they have very messy nets. And if something is in there, they basically just use their then sticky silk to immobilize prey.
yeah,
So they're actually pretty good at hunting black widows.
yeah. Also, they are actually group hunters.
Not
Like, they're
good.
group hunters, but they actually can work in groups. So a black widow, which is solitary, actually doesn't stand a chance against them because they're just like, yo, you walked into the wrong neighborhood. I don't fuck with spiders. I get it, but like, yeah, there's a reason why some people say keep, especially depending on where you live, keep cellar spiders because they genuinely kill the harmful spiders.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Worst case scenario, you have an infestation with cellar spiders, which is way more easy to live with.
Also, just to get rid of, because remember the whole sealing off the whole house and starving them out. That would work with cellar spiders, actually.
Probably. I'm not quite sure.
Probably.
I'm not sure if they're hungry enough they would turn to cannibalism, but they're not as prone to that at least.
Yeah. But I don't think they have the 200 eggs.
Yeah, I think they have 20 per batch or something.
So it's a little less. It's just
Like worst case scenario
It's
is
easier.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
easier.
Yeah, worst case scenario, instead of having several hundred highly venomous spiders that can kill you, even though they don't want to, you have spiders where they bite you and it burns a bit.
Oh, that's still a problem of having lots of spiders, which is
Yes,
not always fun.
but I would argue that's a good trade-off.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
It's a slightly worse. Again, it's very much a Simpson thing.
Yeah.
Remember the episode? But yeah.
there's always a Simpsons episode.
Oh,
Let's just be real here. There's always a Simpsons episode.
I mean, especially right now with what's going on with the US, where you remember the episode where it's like President Trump is left with a
Oh, God.
large deficit.
Oh God, yeah. I remember how the first term, but remember the Simpsons said after his second term.
Yes,
So this was a warning. Oh yeah, you know what? When you're allergic to bug bites, I can totally understand that. That's like
Yeah, at that point, just leave.
but just jump to burning the house down thing, but do it in a way that the insurance is like, yeah, that definitely burned down on natural causes. It's just a fun. It's just a wild ride, and I'm shocked that this isn't talked more about because, like, again, the YouTube rules literally got changed due to this guy and his Black Widow infestation, and the fact that he just made money to creating a Black Widow fighting arena. Oh, god damn it! Yeah. No, I wanted you to. Oh god, they also died. Oh well. How was the week, Rogers? And how was your week, Ruben?
You're right.
Aside from the
told
funeral.
about my bee.
I mean, so you told about the funeral.
No, he talked about it, but you were in the toilet.
I know. Rip. There was lots of stuff. There was this whole issue. It was mostly pretty good. There's about 80 to there was about 100 of the family there, and that was like close family. So aunts, uncles, cousin, grandchildren, grandchildren's like spouses and stuff like that. I think you had like my grandpa's second cousin and stuff like that. Yeah, but basically there was a lot of hands there. A lot of us. Thankfully, even though there was a lot of us there wasn't any broad problem. So that was quite nice.
That's lovely. Yes, I do.
Not too much family drama. I mean, though there was the issue of
I heard that with the proselytizing too, like
proselytizing sort of thing. The guy, I think had his best. He had a good heart, but I just don't think it was the right place, and he misinterpreted.
Yeah, not
some
read
instructions with So
didn't read the room.
Didn't read the room. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the week was okay. I just kind of getting out of a bit of a depressive episode right now. That just sucks. Yeah, I mean, the worst part about them that was the fact that I had to. God damn it! I had to decide twice what to stream, and it was just not nice. Like, you know, on Wednesday it was let's find a co-op game. Yeah, gladly that solved itself after. Well, Agonia basically was like, you know what, I will try Borderlands 1. I was like, yeah, holy shit, yes, thank you. And today was, you know, the partner of a friend of mine was working on the game and they released a demo, so, you know, I streamed that before that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's a park management sim, so... and I could give her a bit of feedback about how to make it more evil. And trains. I mean, but you know, no, this was like a genuine thing because you know, in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, you could also build train rides through the enclosures of animals in one DLC. So I was like, that would be a good thing to have in your game. It's like just a neat feature, to, you know, because else everything is a bit static and
just designate like animals. No, they're humans.
Those poor animals.
It's humans
like,
because the game is
it's humans in cages.
Yeah, because it's based on Mars attacks. So you're building a theme park on Mars, and humans are the attraction.
How about we make a big enclosure?
Yeah.
And then we arm Martians with tranquilizer weapons. And then they can hunt their own humans and pet them when they sleep.
Yeah, it's still a very like it's proof of concept thing. Like, you know, the idea is you have like themed enclosures. Like, you know, there's the Roman Empire, there's the Wild West, there's ancient China, Egypt, and something else, I think. And, you know, you have to steal people from that era, and you can also steal historical figures like Julius Caesar, and you unlock. You literally unlock stuff by doing human experiments. So like
a little bit ancient aliens.
I mean, you know Mars Attacks, the movie.
I'd not properly watched
Oh
it.
boy, it's a classic. It's where the aliens go. and then blast heads off with lasers. So yeah, it's a neat thing. I just I will like, yeah, they're going into early access later this year, so probably we'll return to that then.
Actually, have you guys heard of Athenfall? I should look at it on Steam and stuff like that.
Not yet, actually. I mean,
I think
the main thing.
it looks a little bit like Fallout, but set in the northern England.
Oh, Atomfall! I
That's it.
I
yeah.
heard
Sorry,
Athens Fall, which
Oh,
is like
no,
what,
no.
Greek. What? I heard about that, and it looks neat, but I haven't heard a lot about it. Like, also, one of my current inputs of information is every 2 weeks or so, there's a new playtest for the next Battlefield, and everyone's like, leak, and now new shit leaked. So
Okay.
that's a big current thing.
Yeah, apparently it was made by the Sniper Elite.
Yeah, I know. I know
Yeah, it was
Rebellion.
made by them. So yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of interested in.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I also announced yesterday there's a new Painkiller coming. If you like that.
Don't think I've actually heard of Painkiller.
Okay, so basically, do you know Serious Sam?
Sounds familiar.
Okay, basically the idea was, it was like during the 2000s, a kind of, it was kind of a budget shooter series in the sense that they had some platforming and, classic weaponry and such, but it was a lot of times just, how's it called? It was just a lot of enemies going at you and they had co-op, and like, Serious Sam especially is more like, here's an open area, and then you hear and like people with bombs on their arms run towards you and suicide.
It looks a little bit like Doom, sort of. I'm looking at the game on Steam.
The new Painkiller definitely has a lot of New Doom influences. Which is, I appreciate that. Like, visually, it still looks very much like Painkiller. Like, those are the Painkiller weapons. It's just, in terms of...
It was just more like, so there's lots of enemies and they try to attack you and you've got to run around with like guns
that
and
was
stuff.
already a thing always in there. It's just...
Of course.
Oh, nice! I actually managed to finish the co-op mode on 3 maps now. Do you see
nice.
the new leaks? Yeah, I saw the gameplay of the Gibraltar map. It actually looks pretty neat. Still kind of basic, but I mean, we have 2 basic urban maps, and like 2042 launched with 0 urban maps, so I'm still taking what we get right now. I think a lot of people will like that. It's just like, I want to have a bit more spicy maps, but like I would lie if I'd say, Grand Bazaar is like literally, it's 2 building blocks and a narrow alleyway in the middle, and 2 side stuff and streets around it, and that's it. And it's one of the most liked maps in the series for some reason. I still think it's like the weakest urban map. Nice. Actually, we're done here. Woo. Oh, Hollywood. I have not seen that yet. I know that there is a Hollywood map, but I have not seen gameplay from it yet or so. Also, yeah, probably will see it later. But yeah. The new Painkiller actually looks good, but also like, Saber Interactive is kind of on one hell of a run. So that's definitely gonna be like another big hit for them, I would say. After Space Marine 2, just be like, oh yeah, we're reviving Painkiller and it looks good. And it's like, yeah, cool. You revived Painkiller and it looks good. Like that style of game was basically like, they tried doing that a few times and now it's like, eh. And you had like, what should I was like, I mean, Crow Team tried making a new Serious Sam, and from what I heard, 4 isn't that good, but I haven't played it, and apparently the fan expansion is better, but yeah, I don't know. I've played a lot of... what the biggest problem with a Serious Sam 4 is? So there's a game called Serious Sam 2, and it's the best in the whole series, because it's just a fucking trip in terms of game. Like, Serious Sam 2 is great, and wild. And a few years ago, they actually just randomly put out a patch that was an update that was like, hey, we just made the game look better, run better, fixed a whole lot of issues, and just added stuff like, oh, you can just dual wield every weapon now. And you're like, okay. And printing is in now, because that was legit a thing that was missing in a game. So like everyone's like, yeah, why would you play new Serious Sam when the second one just got better? Yeah. God. Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
I think I'm probably gonna head now because I'm making some dinner and I can need to
Actually-
eat. I haven't had
Yeah,
dinner
sure.
yet. Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry about
That's
that.
fine.
No problem.
It was still
It's been
nice having you
fun.
here. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
still wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then,
See you guys
night.
later. See you guys next week.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I should go another round. I might be able to finish it on the last map even.
Then do that.
Yeah, why not?
Friday normally goes a bit longer, so it's fine.
What?
Friday normally goes a bit longer.
Yeah, that's fine. We would still go out in like a very normal pace, I would say. Yeah, I have not seen the Hollywood leaks yet. Let's just check really quickly if they are out. Are there Hollywood leaks? No. Damn it. Still need to wait. Just have the Gibraltar leaks right now. Oh yeah, we are on Redacted, so let's see if I can actually finish on that map. So yeah, I would generally be interested to see them, but that's just me, you know. Oh well, but yeah. It is still kind of funny to think about that we actually own everything in the Borderlands series, but that is generally just because they're like, here's a big bundle and it's really cheap. Do you want to get the bundle? And then subsequent bundles always get cheaper, and you're like, oh, we like the games, we might play them one day. Yeah. So yeah, we might actually get to Borderlands. I don't think we want to commit to like playing through the Borderlands series like through all mainline titles straight until 4.
We'll see.
Actually, yeah, if it's fun and we get through them in a decent amount of time. One thing I do wish they would do for the 4th game is that they should bring back DLC characters, because they were generally what? They should bring back Krieg, yes, but what I want to do, what I want them to have is that they finally should fill that gap. They were very close in pre-sequel, but have enough characters that we can have an all-girl team. They were really close. They just needed one more. Oh god. You know what? I just realized we're going to be in for a lot of. I mean, it probably hasn't shown up yet, but like there's gonna be very insufferable Borderlands 4 has gone woke discourse, even though, you know, I think Borderlands is gonna be if anyone tries that, it's probably gonna be the biggest fucking smoking gun, because like, what do you mean Borderlands has gone woke? It's one of the series where just people were gay since the start. You just didn't notice because you never played them. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, this, I don't understand the word woke. I mean, the woke just means something they hate. Like, Rogers, you need to keep in mind, one of those right-wingers literally laid out the plan. They said they want to degrade the word woke to mean nothing, but except to their side that it means literally everything they hate for. Like, that's it. The word was supposed to mean nothing.
But it wasn't supposed to mean nothing.
They wanted to degrade it so much that it meant nothing. That's the thing. Except for, you know, sounding concerned. It literally is just a tactic to get people to, you know, that don't question it, to be like, wait, is this something to be concerned about? And the thing is, now that they realize, as a lot of people catch on to the whole grift, you know what? Now they're saying DEI. A thing that literally just, an anagram that literally just stands for diversity, equity, and inclusivity. That's it. A thing that, you know, if you spoke out, you would be like, wait a second, if I'm against that, am I just maybe evil? I'm like, yeah. But the point is to literally strip meaning, because these people, you know they can't say the Jews or black, you know, the N-word. So they use the euphemisms. And the moment people start catching on that they might be meaning that, they switch to a new word. And they always pick a word that is already in use, because that makes it harder for people to be like, oh, this is just made up bullshit, because, you know, oh, that was already used somewhere. That's the whole tactic. It's shockingly simple to dismantle, actually, if you know. Yeah. It's just obvious, but like, also, I think the most important part to point out that, you know, if people ever try to be like, you know, oh, Borderlands has done that and that, you know, yeah, that's the thing. It's just like they want to be mean. They want to mean, you know, it includes women, the N-word, etc. Because I'm saying the N-word because these people are racist. They just know they can't say the N-word, even though they're thinking the N-word every time they talk about it. It's just there to give some legitimacy. That's why they pick these words. Because, oh yeah, you want to have a new thing. You want to I've been called the. Oh yeah, that happens a lot of times. Like, they do that when they feel safe. It's just, you know, if you keep saying the N-word in too openly, it's, you know, it's just a thing, you know. The reason why they have a problem with Assassin's Creed Shadows is, you know, is obviously not the fact that it's just, you know, they hate black people, but then also they know they can't just say that, because then it would just give it away, so they use woke. And also, the moment someone says actually the thing out loud, that it's, you know, that they're just fucking racist, well, then they're just like, oh, no, that's not what we mean, that's not us. So they, like, it is so absurdly simple that they're like, you know, oh, we use a word that was in usage before, so people think there might be some legitimacy because we didn't just make the word up, you know. Yeah, they just killed any meaning for the word, basically. But also, because they're using euphemisms, every time one of their fan base actually goes full on racist and calls it what it is, they can just pretend, oh, that's not what we mean. We are not those radicals and such. So it actually becomes a shield for them. And people keep falling for this shit. It's just baffling. How easy people just keel over, and they're like, ah. Well, they say they're not radical. Listen, they just say the euphemism. Idiots. Ah.
Don't hurt me!
I mean, there's a reason education was stripped down a long time ago under Reagan, and I mean, the Department of Defense was killed today, or yesterday or so. It's like they generally do not want to have educated people. That's like, if you ever wondered why the school system sucks so much, it generally is because they know if it didn't suck, people stop being shitty. God damn it, why couldn't you just fucking shoot first? Ah. Yeah. I mean, the right-wing conspiracy theories are like so widespread. I mean, also, you need to keep in mind, one of the big reasons why they are so prevalent is not only missing education, like it's a big part, but also economic inequality. Like, don't forget, a lot of the conspiracy theories are literally nowadays built around your life is horrible because Group X is keeping you down. I mean, Group X is rich people, see Elon Musk, because, they literally take over the fucking government to make themselves richer. But because people are disenfranchised and don't get education, they then use that to say, look, maybe someone else is the reason. Yeah. Depressing shit. Anything more fun you have to talk about? You want to talk about? We are literally open for discussion now. Oh.
I don't think you can get away from right-wing conspiracy theories in this day and age.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, hey,
they're just too widespread, as you said.
You know what? At least ours are stupid. Like, actually, Germany is a company, and we never signed the constitution. And you just sit there being like, "Oh God!" And then they're like, "The monarchy is still legit." Oh, shut the fuck up. At least the people got arrested for that. It's. Yeah, nothing fun. Oops, fuck. Bleak. Yeah, I don't think I win this round because my team is stupid. I got more competent teams the last time. I was stupid.
So you have to be better.
Oh God, maybe I should hit up the Battlefield Discord and be like, hey, I need 3 people that know how to play to help me finish the co-op. Oh well, it's not really that relevant. Yeah.
It's hard to top the Beanmaster story,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, smoke is probably the way to go, but I just don't want to use smokes. But like, I should probably use smokes. It's more like, oh yeah, if I throw an incendiary, I can level them. Yes.
Engineer your own problems.
Yes, I am an engineer of my own problems, as I usually am.
It's like walks through the room, stubs toe. Why is it there? Because you put it there.
What? What happened there?
You.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you put one of my guitars there and you always run it.
Yes, I know. I should probably put it somewhere else. Yeah, burn. Very good.
See, that's why they don't need a suppression system in this mode. Because there's smokes.
Yeah, I mean the irony is that, but I would generally think they should maybe really follow through with the idea of a co-op mode in the series, because like you already have big maps you can modify. That is just one thing, and I think the robot angle actually fits a lot better, since like, how should I put it? Like, I know people were like, oh, dinosaurs, literally just because that one scene in the campaign of 3, and like, sorry, robots are the better idea for an enemy because A, easier to animate, B, you can actually, yeah, again, you can actually write such an easy reason for why robots would do shit. Just, also, you can just make up new robots. That's actually a very easy thing to do. But yeah, I just want to say that that's, yeah, I do say robots are just hands down better because you can start with, you know, humanoid ones. You can, it's just, there are a lot of old people who just cling to the idea of the dinosaur mode. And like, it's not good. Like, sorry. I played, like, here's the thing. I played a lot of dinosaur games, and let me tell you, the best one is Dino Crisis, and that's like literally, it literally is just Resident Evil, because it was also made by Capcom. Like, every fucking game they do was just Resident Evil at some point. But yeah, robots are just better. You can make so many. Like, you can start with humanoid ones, you can make spider bots, you can make flying bots, you can just do all the robots. All the robots, just do them. Also important, you can... I mean, the key thing is more like, what kind of robots do you want to have? Ah, shit. Because right now it's more like, you know, okay, they just slap them onto humanoids. That's okay, but... I mean, the key part is more like, what style of mode do you want to have? Like, I would generally say you know, you go through something sector by sector, and then maybe have different objectives per sector, is not a bad idea, because that just allows you to really use a map, and you can, like, actually, you know, you can take a big multiplayer map, just cut them up a bit, make some blockades somewhere, and, you know, it's like, okay, you do this section, you do that, and then... That's also true. They're also just easier to animate. I would say, you just need to make them robotic. Actually, that's like, you know, that would be one thing. I generally would say they should maybe do it a little bit objective based, but like keep a more, you know, okay, you go through a level and then extract route, which would. You need to have some, you know, unique mechanics, like I would say, have a bit of a leveling system that you can expand on, because, you know, you have classes anyway, so you can, might as well make the classes, give the classes something to level, because, oh yeah, sure, doesn't need to be in the multiplayer, but like, oh nice, I have armor plates on tier 1. Well, that was easy. Like, yeah, classes, you know, can do something like that. And Gesundheit. And if you actually have something to customize and stuff, people like that, especially if you can make unique builds and stuff, you know. Oh, damn, also the gun done. Nice. It's just a big thing. The main thing you want to just decide on is what style of enemy do you want to have? Do you want to have shooting enemies, or do you want to have melee enemies? And there's actually a pretty big difference that you need to keep in mind here, because like if you want to have melee enemies, it's okay. They usually, sometimes they're a bit more tanky, but you can have them more big, quicker, and die faster. A bit like zombies and such. But generally, if you want to have ranged units and such, at that point it's more like, okay, you need to have projectiles and you need to have some dodge ability, stuff like that. Obviously. Next obvious thing I would say, if they are supposed to shoot, also have some unique ones, but god damn it, look at Payday. And I mean Payday 1 and 2, not Payday 3. Payday 3 is just straight ass. Because you want, if you want to have some kind of horde, you need to have some form of health management system, in the sense that you need to be able to manage your downtimes easier, like how much punishment can you take and how much can you dish out. Like, yeah, Payday 2 went kind of overboard with that, but like, that's why we play it, right? 1, 2, or 3, or do you mean the general series? Because like, I generally love 2. I think 1 is still good, but like 2 is just the best in the whole series. It's just the whole thing. Oh yeah, Payday 3. Like, I hate that people are now like, oh, it's fine now. It's like, no. Like, here's the thing. Playable doesn't mean good. And Payday 3 right now is just the worst in the series. It's just, I do not know how people defend that. I guess, yes, it's better than what was at launch, but like, that doesn't mean it's good. Because like, worst skill system, worst gun customization, just everything. Only now are they doing some things a bit more, they're doing a few things, and even then it's more retreads of 2, to the point where I'm like, just fucking scrap the thing and just redevelop it as, it's just Payday 2, with some, basic Payday 2 stuff, and you're like, okay, we're just taking out some of the broken stuff and rebalancing the ones that people like, and just, keep doing it. But like, yeah. That's the thing. You need some form of armor system or so that it's like, okay, hey, I heard of that, like, that apparently Killing Floor 3 was not good. So like, holy shit, what the hell happened there? Ooh. I mean, here's the thing. If they start clean and then, get bloody, that would be another topic, but yeah. Like, that's the thing where I would say, for example, like, you could do the whole pristine goes to shit thing, but yeah, not enough zombies, that's a problem. And there was like, maybe this one is good after the, the Christian rock band Heather is out of the studio. Yeah, that is probably one of the weirdest things that probably people never noticed in Killing Floor 1 and 2. Like, the ex-CEO of Tripwire, before they basically told him to get the fuck out of the company, like, he has a Christian metal band, and they just literally put his songs in there, and they're like, literally about how the Christians are, they haunt us for our they hunt us for our beliefs, and like, oh god, that was It was just there the whole time. Oh boy, that was bad. So yeah, actually no surprises when the guy went, actually I am very much pro-life and not more people should not be ashamed to be pro-life, and then the whole studio was like, yo, you leave the company right the fuck now because you literally make our deaths leave.
Explosives armed. Shoot any tango who gets near them. Down the hostile. Give me one second. Hey, reloaded! Disable our target.
No, I switched the weapon now. I have enough. I did enough mayhem. Nice. Which one is next? Oh, shotgun. I don't think I should use the shotgun though. DMRs, you say, game? Yeah, that definitely sounds bad. But yeah, if you have long range stuff, have some form of shield regeneration, and also again then have fucking abilities and skills that feed into that. Like it is always a thing where I'm like, you need to look at some things holistically. Like, you know, if your game is built around managing health, you should, especially in a co-op game that is supposed to be fast and hectic, you generally should have ways to regain it. You know, without like that's why I would say Payday 2 is, in my opinion, so good, because it basically goes a bit overboard to an extent, but like
Charge is set. Guard until it's low.
if you look at, for example, health, okay? Health is literally built around the idea that if you use a med pack, that is the last resort, okay? Like something went bad and now you need to use it, which is, for example, you know, you went down and you need to refill it down and something like that. Simple stuff, okay? But usually the game is around, okay, there are hordes of enemies, how can you manage your health? How can you manage that you not go down?
Charge is blank. Make sure they get there. Charges have been disabled by the enemy.
Yeah, those are just two things I would point out. Like, you know, if you work on if you make a co-op mode, really you go into the objective based stuff, and also try to utilize that you have big maps. Those are the things I would say. I mean, I generally when it comes to co-op games, I would add a few more things. Like, for example, the whole you know, Payday idea of, you know, you carry bags out with loot. That's great. You could actually expand on that in so many co-op games, and they don't do that. I'm like, why? But like that's a personal thing. Like, you know, oh, you know, make, you know, if you're, for example, doing a zombie game, it's like, how do you what would be your main idea? And it's like, okay, you go and you have to actually, how's it called? You know, you actually go in to get resources and such, and like, there are zombie hordes, yes, but also you need to, oh. Who the fuck killed the guy?
Enemy is one.
you know, you need to extract, and that's also just a cool idea, because then you can actually make stuff like, how do you extract? Oh, no, I mean, I don't mean Call of Duty, I mean, I don't even mean Battlefield, I just mean in general, like, that would be good, that's a good angle for zombies co-op games, you know? Just make it tight, and in a sense of, you know, you go somewhere and you need to get out, and it's like, one life, one attempt. You know, what you take in is what you take out, so the scavenging aspect is actually, like, encouraged. Except when you're like high up in the ranking and you like actually have a resource, like a whole economy built up for your character, that you can start supporting more. Like, I think the extraction formula isn't bad, I just really hate that most extraction games are like, oh, we're the slow burn realism type, and like, you could also just actually make a game that's more just Payday and stuff like that, but that's probably more my taste, you know. My tastes are a bit more weird, and like there's a tendency in the in at least especially the gaming industry, in my opinion, that they just keep copying, and this isn't like, I would say, to a degree, because, you know, people are. I mean, okay, yeah, to a degree, I would say some people are uncreative. But like, for example, if you're an indie game, yes and no. I played that, and I would say this is not what I mean. This is more in the sense of, you know, something like how's it called? If you have something like a Left 4 Dead game with that type of zombies, and you actually just load into a specifically tightly designed map, and you know, and you have to actually go to an objective and do something and extract a bit more, you know, a bit more like Payday, but like with zombies and stuff. But like, what you extract and what you take with you matters. That is what I mean. That is an angle where, like, it's kind of wild that I just sit there being like, this is such an obvious combination, but like, they, you know, I haven't seen it yet, so. Like, yeah, the zombies one is, like, DMZ is just still way too slow in my opinion, because it's just, I mean, it's a reskinned mode. Wasn't that bad, actually? It's just, yeah. Also, I wish they had actual RPG builds, because that's also a thing that wasn't in there. You know, that's actually my biggest problem with a lot of people who are like, oh, hey, why don't you just play more Left 4 Dead and stuff? And like, listen, I don't hate Left 4 Dead, it's just, I finished it, I played it on the highest difficulty. There's nothing more to do, really, like, and also, it's just not a big, there's not a lot of variety, because the solution, especially in Left 4 Dead 2, is melee weapons. It's a lot of times literally just melee weapons. And meanwhile, I kind of like, you know, nowadays with Back 4 Blood, that they changed to, you actually need to have builds to actually use melee weapons efficiently. That's cool. They actually reworked it. It's pretty fun now. Like, I know people are like when it came out, I totally get it. Like, I played it at launch and was like, that's bad, because like, I get what they were going for, but it was just not a good idea. But they reworked like a lot of stuff, and how, you know, basically they made it so now that you make a deck with 15 cards and it's just activated from the start. So instead of your slow, oh, I built something and maybe at the end there's something there, it's now like, actually, you put things together that synergize, and you're like, okay, I have a melee build now and I go ham, or, you know, I'm making a build that especially is there to shred weak points, and you go ham. And like, it's actually really good, because when you're like on the highest difficulty, like the bosses are tough, so you really need someone who's like, okay, I go for weak point damage, like, and I'm not good at everything else. And then other people are like, okay, I have a medic build, I go full on melee, I heal myself and I heal you, and I, like, you know, just crank out the damage. That it's generally better now, like a lot better. I generally like it because it's actually like, yeah, it's basically Left 4 Dead with a class system now. So on high still play it on high difficulties. On low difficulties, more like you play through it to learn the maps, and unlock cards. But the higher ones are more like actually what you want to play now, and there's some really neat stuff. Like, for example, they have more levels now, like 2 more campaigns, which are way more like Left 4 Dead, like they're just 5 levels. I would generally say they are harder though. I would say the 5th episode is generally the hardest because there are cultist enemies now, and they use sniper rifles, and and they have like more aggressive enemies, they have traps, and it's literally like, hey, you think zombies were bad? This is worse. And like, not in a way where I'm like, this is unfair. It's just, yeah, turns out story-wise, there's a whole cult that basically gets themselves infected because they worship the plague, and which was run by a bioscientist. So like, smarter zombies. So they, have arrows and shit, and they're like they're a bit more intelligent. So yeah, in the later episodes, 5 and 6, I think 6 is like generally they have some great ideas, and it's a bit more mild, and it's nice to play. It's just the 5th episode just gets really fucking in your face because, you need to it starts basically innocent. It's like, oh hey, assemble a boat, and then you're like, okay, and then it's like, oh, you have to break into a prison now, and then fight through mines, and you're like, oh god, those are all close quarters. I'm like, yeah, it's close quarters, asshole. Fucking survive. And it gets intense. I would generally say Back 4 Blood got a lot better. Like, frankly, the power level is now just high. Like, again, you start with a full build. Like, you can get, especially if you play on lower levels, you enter a mission and you're just right off the bat, you're very fucking strong. But that's also a lot more fun because, like, I do not know what some ideas went into the... I get what they wanted to do with the roguelike elements. Yeah, like, that's probably the thing. The biggest problem the game had was when you started at launch and played a level, you sucked. And that was probably intentional, as like, oh, you scavenge for resources, every time you finish a part, you pick a new card and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if it's perfect. I don't think it's like, I don't know how much I would put it now, but like, it's actually really enjoyable to play right now, and I appreciate a lot more what they were going for and what their ideas were, because, when you're not constantly struggling to survive, as in, like, that was the problem, in Left 4 Dead 2, you were generally just kind of overpowered with melee weapons, and then in Back 4 Blood, you kind of started out in the beginning as everything kind of sucks, but the game can just throw bosses at you if you, and that just was kind of bad. And now it's more like you get out of the gate and you can literally go in swinging with a baseball bat and just start going through enemies. And yeah, melee builds actually really fucking strong. Or like, there's a whole highwayman build for a character that is basically you regain grenade equipment on kills and damage when you're burning, so you just keep yeeting Molotov cocktails. Like, okay. And you know what? At that point, I like a game because it's like, if you give me options to build weird shit, I will enjoy weird shit, is what I'm saying. Like that is the strength of a good RPG system. Like if an RPG system is only you gradually increase your power, if an RPG system is like you get more powerful, but also you have a more it's like horizontal and vertical progression. Like the vertical progression is you just do more damage. That's good. That should be everywhere somewhere because like you kind of want to feel more powerful. But also horizontal is more like you get more utility. And the thing is, you really need to balance that because if you have weird horizontal like weird builds, that's great. And they are onto something. They like generally I think with that update they were onto something because it generally is a lot more fun now. And here's the thing. The big problem the game had was just, they were bought up and because of publisher stuff, they, publisher deals, they couldn't do more things so that the game was basically cut short. It's like, they are probably working on the sequel now, which is very likely to be starting where the first game ended in terms of design and just keep doing that. So we'll see how that will be. But yeah, I generally liked what they have going now, and that's just for me because like I just like RPGs in my co-op games is what I'm saying. Like I know people enjoy the rawness of Left 4 Dead and that's fine, but like I do like if I have a I bash enemy with a baseball bat, get more strength through that, and also temporary health. And then I can actually overcharge my fucking health and become even more of a monster. That's just cool, yeah. So that's also what I would say. If Battlefield wants to have a co-op mode, they definitely would need to go to look at it and be like, okay, do not have only vertical progression. Like have an RPG system for the classes, but have horizontal ones, like have abilities or like have perks or whatever you have in the system that allows to make a weird character. Like if it is a mind spamming, minefield creating defensive specialist, or someone that just goes in more offensively, both is fine, but both should be there, as an idea. Because that's what why co-op games can be fun. That's why I like playing Borderlands, because it's a game where you start out and you're like, whoa, I suck, and then it's like spam face walk, fry the enemies, kill them, face walk is off cooldown again, face walk again, fry, repeat. Or pew, I ignore your shield, fuck you. Or what was that with Krieg? You you have to keep killing, else you explode.
No, not directly.
Okay. How did it work, that build?
Basically, I had no shield.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I got under, I think, 20% health, I could use my action skill, which made my arm big. Mm-hmm. And then I have big melee and I can throw explosive headshots.
Amazing.
And every time I go under 20% health again, I can, use it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of bullshit I want to see from, like, if your game is like a first-person combat system with shooting, usually have some bullshit in there, because let's just be real here. There are a lot of people out there who don't actually like shooting that much, especially in hectic situations. So let them just explode things. I mean, similar in Payday 2, it's like, what do we play? We don't have armor. We just convert everything into a gigantic fuck of health pool that we can regenerate the lost health with one click with Stoic. It's strong. Like, Payday 2 perks, the more weird they got, the more fun they were to use. Yeah. But yeah, I can really say I like Back 4 Blood now. Kind of wanted to stream through it at some point, but we'll see if that ever manifests. That's I kind of want to do that with 4 people actually, but yeah. Oh well, that was Battlefield. Got a lot of stuff done actually today. Holy shit. Maybe we'll play a few times next over the days again. If Danny actually says a thing.
And now we have to sleep.
We have to sleep now, yes. We're at a more normal time. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you had a good time. Again, Master Tracks, you can wishlist it now or try the demo. It's not a lot, but it's there on Steam. And yeah. Thank you for listening to my goddamn ramblings. And hopefully you enjoyed or didn't enjoy the story of Bienenmeister 22. So yeah, have a nice weekend ahead of you, and see you all on Saturday for Castlevania Area of Sorrow. No, on Sunday for Area of Sorrow, not Saturday. God damn it. Have a good one and good night.
Night.